Okay, so Chloe is one of my puppy pack, and she is here to finish all of her e-collar training. We've done a little bit of e-collar heel and recall previously when she was a little bit younger. She's now about 10 months old, and we're just going to get her onto the e-collar for everything. Um, I just want to show you a little bit about the remote and the collar. So, Chloe, down. Good. I'll get down here a little bit closer so we can see. All right. Okay. So she has a micro, so the flashing light is here. On the regular mini educator, it's on the top, but when it's flashing green, it's on and it's charged. If it flashes orange or red, it needs to be charged. There are two red magnets, one on the collar and one on the remote. When you touch them together, it turns it on and off. So red is off, green is on. In the back, in the center, is a big button that has a letter L on it, which is for light. It's also your on and off button. So if you push and hold it, the remote will go on and off. So now I'll turn it back on. But if you just tap it, it scrolls through lights. So the first light is flashing, the second light is solid, and then it's off. And I'm just tapping instead of holding that same button. The MC button on the back that's small is used for programming purposes. So unless you're trying to reprogram something, you do not need that button at all. On the remote, there are two buttons that have S for stim. One is black, one is red. If all you have is one dog, then you are going to be mostly using the black button, which will give you whatever stim is on the front. So right now, Chloe's is a 5. So if I touch that button, it will give her a stim at 5 out of 100, but this is the micro, so it's about 20% less voltage than the regular mini educator. And then if you have a boss, it's about 20% more voltage than the mini educator. So if you turn the dial, it changes that number, okay? And then you can program the red button to be an automatic boost. So if I'm on 7, and I hit boost, hers goes to 19. So hers is programmed for 12 above the number that is on the front. So if I hit this one, it would be just a 7. If I hit this one, it's 12 above. So most of the time, I set most of my dogs for 10 to 20, depending on the dog. But it's really easier to just dial. Like if you're outside and your dog is very distracted, it's going to be easier to just get very comfortable with this in your hand, dialing up and down, tapping buttons. By the way, while I'm tapping, this is not on her. So practice when it's off the dog and just get used to the buttons and all the things. It does need to be pretty snug around the dog's neck. So I like getting the ones with the bungee. It gives them a little bit of comfort as they move around into different positions. But the contact points need to be on the skin. So if you have a dog that has a lot of hair, you're going to have to part the hair. And I like the clips too, but just know, like, I've had some dogs that like to roll around in the grass or whatever, and they can actually like get this undone. So just be aware that that obviously could come undone. If you just get the buckle, it's a little bit more secure. So it just depends on your preference and the dog. But it should be pretty snug. Like with the bungee, you can get 2 fingers probably. If you don't have a bungee, maybe 1 to 2. But if it's like, if you can slide it around, it's way too loose. So that is the basics of this. Also, this green light flashes on the front, obviously, if the remote is on. And then if it needs to be charged, it will also change to like an orange-red color. And that is about it for the remote. There is charging ports on both the collar and the remote. The important thing to know about that is if you don't fully close this, it's not waterproof. So if you have a dog who goes in lakes and rivers or swimming pools or whatever, Just make sure that when you finish charging, that you actually close the port all the way so that you can take advantage of that waterproof feature. All right, that is the basics of the remote. For my dogs who go through board and train and are fully off-leash e-collar trained at the time they go home, you will mostly be using, like I said, the black button, occasionally that boost, or you could just dial up. And then the only other button is this button that says T for tone. So I also train all the dogs on tone recall. So let's see if you can hear this. Or here. So if you tap it, it's a short tone. If you hold it, it's a long tone. It will tone for 3 seconds, and then it will transition over to whatever stim you have programmed. So right now this says 18. So if you push and hold the tone, 1, 2, 3 seconds-ish. I'm probably counting too slow, but then it will switch over if you're still holding it down. So when the dog comes home from board and train, you should be able to just tap the tone and they should look for you. But remember that the remote is not directional. So at the point you get their attention, you may still have to actually call them. A lot of the dogs will come the whole way to you, but if you need them to come the whole way and they're looking for you but not coming, just go ahead and call them. You can also hold it down for the full 3 seconds, let it go to stim, until the dog turns and comes to you. As soon as the dog turns, please let go. And then if they stop coming, you can go ahead and do a correction basically for not coming all the way. But you need to give them a little bit of help, especially if they're out of your sight and you're using the tone recall to get them to come looking for you. Just make sure that you're helping the dog. Like, they may not know where you are, but at least the tone will get their attention from whatever they're doing. Usually, if it's a very, very high distraction, I would just go to the stim and tap the collar, and you go looking for your dog and find them and help them. But tone recall is awesome. And especially if there is lots of noise around or you're farther from your dog than you think, they may not hear your voice, and tone is right next to them and it gets their attention a whole lot better. So tone recall is great. Those are the functions you're going to be using on your remote collar. I'm also sending dogs home with this clip. So let's see. If you don't want to use the clip, you can just take it off. But it's a nice alternative to the lanyard, depending on what activities you're doing. It's not always great to have it hanging around your neck or in your pocket. So this makes it easily accessible for you to clip on a pocket or something, or on a backpack. But this you can take off if you want. It's fairly low profile for if you don't want to use the clip, but it is a handy option. So, all right, that is it for all of our e-collar instructions and what you need to know taking your dog home from board and train.